We are supercharging the excitement for Euro 2024 with a special giveaway. 3 lucky winners will be celebrating with €100 cash prize each at the final. All you need to do is complete the social tasks on 𝐿𝐴𝐻. The more you participate, the higher odds of winning. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description and complete all tasks now.
Hello and welcome to Odds on Euro Matchday 3, Groups E and F. Everything to be decided. In Group E, all teams with 3 points. In Group F, we have Portugal qualified, but still, let's see if Turkey or Czech Republic go through. So we have Dani, Fisichella, and Alvaro, Romeo. Hello, guys, to analyze with us this 4 interesting games. We are loving Portugal so far. Still to see Cristiano Ronaldo to score. So remember to press the like, subscribe, and now let's go on with the show. And let's start with Group E. Here, as I said, by the way, is the early kickoff at 6 p.m. All the teams have 3 points, so it's really interesting. The first game is Slovakia, Romania, and it's funny because if they draw, they are through, both. So they are talking about Biscotto.
Biscotto, obviously.
If we talk about Biscotto, we have to talk with Dani Fisichella, Italian expert in Biscottos. Dani, we see the odds, and for the very first time in history, the draw pays way less than the win of any of the teams.
You don't need to be Einstein to understand why. With a draw, they both qualify, but we're not talking about nations that are used to playing knockout stages. Romania would advance to the knockout stages for the first time since 2000. Slovakia have advanced to the knockout stage a couple of times, but really, these are not teams that are used to play at that sort of important game. So obviously they're gonna draw. Why would they damage themselves? Look, these are the time of the year when you I wish I had studied statistics rather than science of communication, because I could work out the permutation a little bit better. But luckily, on the internet, you can find a lot of great accounts. And one that I found, which is called Football Myths Data, has got the chances, the probability of qualifying. Slovakia, 72% chances of qualifying. Romania, 82% chances of qualifying. So they will need a catastrophe not to go through. And I think they're going to go through hand in hand. Of course, Slovakia just need a point. Nobody wants to damage their good goal difference. Romania still +1. Slovakia is that 0 goal difference, which could be enough to see them through. And if you look at the two teams, Slovakia, they faltered in the second half against Ukraine. They made a couple of defensive mistakes. They had to avoid that. Romania showed they can create opportunities also against Belgium, but they look very exposed, especially through the middle. It's going to be nothing like that. I think it's going to be a very cagey game. 3 of the last 4 meetings have ended in a draw with two teams, although they haven't played each other since 2013. And Slovakia have only lost 4 of the last 19 and haven't lost back-to-back games since September 2022. This is going to be a Biscotto. I don't know who's going to be the victim of the Biscotto. Hopefully not Italy, as in 2004 when the Sweden and Denmark played that scandalous 2-2 draw. For me, is an under 2 goals, 181. I will always be tempted to say 0-0.
I was going to say goalless draw pays 5.3, and it's very likely, Alvaro.
Definitely.
It looks like that, yeah. Only one question, guys, regarding Slovakia. 4 points and a 0 goal difference qualifies them?
It's fine. It should be fine.
It should be fine, but it's not guaranteed 100%. We have to see what happens in the other groups, but should be fine.
I know,
for Romania, it's different because they got 4 points and a +1.
Even if it doesn't qualify the 0-0, they could play to a 1-1, which will give Slovakia a bit more goals scored. Yeah. I think, it's.
But what I'm saying is that for Romania,
3 points and a 0 goal difference, you are through.
Let's see about that, because we still have to see what happens in the rest of the groups. I'm not too sure. For example, tonight, if Albania and Italy win, those two teams will be better off than
the only case.
Slovakia and Romania.
If
So
Spain beats-
it's not that 100% sure, especially in the case of Slovakia, because if they draw, they will have a 0 goal difference and 4 points. I think they will be fine. But for Romania, it's better because they will have a +1 goal difference. I think that the win against Ukraine was super important because they won 3-0, and that gives you suddenly such an advantage over your competitors. That was the key for Romania, to win the first game so comprehensively. But anyway, I think that this group is quite interesting. I believe that Slovakia has been doing a good tournament so far. Against Belgium, it's true that they conceded 2 goals, but they were disallowed, ruled out by the referee. Lukaku scored them. And then when it comes to Romania, I think that they were competitive against Belgium the other day, but the Belgians were just too much for them at some point, and the quality of Lukaku and Kevin De Bruyne just made the difference altogether with 𝐬𝐿𝐴𝐬𝐴. But yeah, I think that this is the kind of game in which both can speculate. I agree with you, even though I think that the 4 points for Slovakia with a 0 goal difference may not guarantee them to qualify. But anyway, I'm going to go for a draw no bet for Slovakia, which is basically following your narrative, guys. A draw is good for both
these
sides.
two teams,
obviously, draw no bet for Slovakia, 176.
These two teams have got a massive advantage that they play on the last day after, for example, Slovenia, Denmark, and Serbia, who are the most likely to miss out. So they will know exactly what they need. Obviously, you need to see what happens on Tuesday. But if Slovenia loses and Serbia, Denmark play to a draw, yeah, I mean, this is a 0-0 all over.
Yeah. Of course, they will know what's happening, but let's watch it anyway. Because imagine that Albania and Italy won win their game.
Yeah, but they'll be fine because Hungary will be eliminated. They are
Hungary
better off.
No, but I'm saying that for Romania it's fine because it's 4 points and a +1 with a draw.
Yep.
But for Slovakia, there is still a slight chance that they could be paying for that 0 goal difference.
But very, very slight. Anyway, it's a great success for both teams going to the last 16 round. I think Slovakians and Romanians could be very happy if they qualify. And we have Ukraine, Belgium. Here, Belgium is fine with the draw. Ukraine, they need to win. Even perhaps there could be circumstances when the draw could be enough, but they have -2 goal difference, so it's unlikely, but still could happen if the other team, if the other game, Slovakia and Romania, is not a draw. There are a lot of combinations in Ukraine. We didn't see Lunin in the last game, and they had a good reaction. We all thought that they were going out of the Euros, but they managed to come back to beat Slovakia. Also, we saw a different Belgium. Alvaro without Carrasco in the lineup and with De Bruyne making the difference. And what a surprise with Lukaku scoring but getting the goal disallowed.
He's the new Alvaro Morata in this Euro. I mean, so many goals disallowed for him. Romelu Lukaku has found the net 3 times, but 3 times his goals have been disallowed. So that's why I'm going to back him this time to score finally. That's going to be one of my bets. And the numbers are not too bad, actually. Lukaku to score 191, Lukaku to score 2 or more 6.0. For those who play big, big money can be made. But, I think that I did like Belgium. The reaction of Domenico Tedesco was phenomenal. The first game, it wasn't that bad as the scoreline suggests, but Belgium needed a reaction, and Tedesco included 4 changes for Belgium, and the 4 changes paid dividends straight away with 𝐬𝐿𝐴𝐬𝐴, one of the players who came in, scoring a goal after 2 minutes. And then, some things work very well, I believe. For example, 𝐜𝐭𝐴𝐽 was good. Vertonghen offered the physicality needed. He did a couple of really good tackles, and Teeth played instead of Yannick Carrasco, and he showed that he's a competent footballer too. But, I think that the best thing for Belgium is that Lukaku and Kevin De Bruyne look like a very good partnership. Kevin De Bruyne, he's getting older, but he was still the third player with most distance covered in the game. He scored the goal. He was playing behind the striker. In this Euro, we have seen a lot of players playing in the position of the number 10, a position that was a little bit gone from football for 6 or 7 years, in my opinion, because many sides play with the 4-3-3. But Pedri, Gundogan, De Bruyne play as a number 10, and for the three of them, I believe that the position suits their current skills. So, yeah, I like Belgium. I think that they did a statement beating Romania the other day. And when it comes to their opponents for this game, Ukraine, look, maybe my favorite goal of the Euros, altogether with a stanchious one for Romania, is 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 the other day against Slovakia. The quality of the goal, the control, it looked like Dennis Bergkamp, really phenomenal. But Ukraine at some point looks to me like a little bit disjointed. They've got the talent is there, but sometimes they don't play as a team as well as some other sides. And Belgium is precisely the type of side that right now, with Tedesco finding the right adjustments, Belgium plays like a team. Ukraine, not so much, I believe. And Ukraine will have it very difficult, by the way, because this side, with a draw, I think that they will find it almost impossible because they have to overcome a -2 goal deficit. They will have to attack, and Belgium may enjoy the counter-attack with Kevin De Bruyne and Romelu Lukaku. The other day, for example, the high line of Romania was a gift for these two players. So I'm going to go for the following. You know, my favorite game to bet is this one, definitely in this show. Belgium to win, 171. Belgium to win and over 1.5 goals in the game, 2.0. I like it. And otherwise, as I said before, the individual market for Lukaku, 191. By the way, I think that Belgium is the favorite to come as group winner in this group. Them to come out as group winners pays 220. Which is not that bad, considering that they showed their worth and their quality against Romania too. So as you can see, I gave you many odds because I really like this game to bet.
Well, Dani, the experts always say that the important thing is having the chances, and even Lukaku, he is scoring them, but it's not valid. Do you like this Belgium so far?
Up and downs. I think they've been very unlucky. They created quite a lot. They showed what they can do up front. Probably could have scored a couple goals more from Slovakia, and they will probably be through. It is a Belgian side that sometimes can leave themselves exposed. Even against Romania, they were suffering a little bit in transitions. But, it is a Belgian side that I think looks more stable, perhaps, than the ones where we've seen in previous tournaments. I do fancy them to win this game. I fancy them to qualify top of the group. I mean, the chances of qualifying for Belgium are 84%. Ukraine, 58%, which is not bad, but not enough probably to see them through to the round of 16. Belgium are consistent. I know in the last World Cup, they were disappointing, especially in the last game against Croatia, miss a lot of chances, which seems to be a recurrent team. They're not very clinical, but Belgium have never lost the last group stage game in any of the last 6 major tournaments. That tells you that when it matters, they deliver a performance. If they need to get over the line, they do it. The last defeat in a group stage game in a major tournament was in 2000 against Turkey when they hosted the competition, and it was not a great Belgian side back then. They won 14 of the last 18 group stage matches and only failed to qualify during the last World Cup. So they should be able to do it against a team, by the way, that they never met before. This is the first ever time they meet, and Belgium has always won the 22 previous meetings against opposition they never met, and that normally tells you they play teams that maybe are recently formed, not easily they're just bursting into the European scenes. They tend to be able to negotiate those games. And curiously for Ukraine, the all 4 wins at the Euros, they've all come with the same score sheet, 2-1. Is it going to be another 2-1 each way? I think it's going to be a both team to score. Ukraine have got firepower up front, the likes of Dobbik for sure, but others can score a goal. This Belgium back line, still not convinced about how good they are, but Belgium have got definitely. And I think Lukaku is going to score. 177, both team to score.
Okay, probably Belgium to go through together with Slovakia and Romania. Let's see if Ukraine give us the surprise. It's been probably the group with more surprises, this group E. Remember that we still have a competition on Glim, so you can participate and complete the social tasks and get €100 in cash prize. 3, actually. Prizes of €100. So you have the link in the description. Let's jump into Group F. Here, the big game is Czech Republic, Turkey. Turkey with 3 points, -1. Probably the draw is enough, but let's see the other results. And Portugal absolutely qualified. Let's analyze first the best game, Czech Republic. Turkey, a lot of criticism around the Aviatore, Dani, around Vincenzo Montella for dropping Arda Güler in the last...
The Aviatore?
Aeroplanino.
Yeah, but yeah, of course, yeah.
With the celebration.
Spain Roma, no?
Yeah, together with Batistuta,
Yes,
of course, that Roma champion with Capello.
Yes, he was, of course.
Well, criticized in Turkey. Montella, we know, is a passionate country, and they were unhappy to see Arda Güler in the bench after scoring the winner against Georgia, or the 2-1 to be more precise. Turkey making a lot of mistakes. The 𝐜𝐭𝐚𝐲 own goal was a joke, the worst goal in this Euro so far. This is a very difficult game to predict, Dani, because also Czech Republic was a bit disappointing against Georgia. How do you see? Again, for me, the 1x2 is a nightmare, this game.
Turkey, it worries me a little bit. They play with a lot of passion. They play with a lot of urge. They got a lot of supporters in Germany, of course. And there is the urge, this pressure to go and attack and to play every game like if it's a final. The game against Georgia was very entertaining, but very crazy, with a lot of transition, with a lot of ball lost and recovered, a lot of coming and going. And I was a little bit disappointed by the fact that Turkey couldn't put a foot on the ball and calm the game down. Neither did Georgia, but with Georgia, you could expect it. Turkey had slightly more experience, and they seem to be driven a lot by the emotions. And they remind me a little bit of Serbia, if you like. Serbia, the last World Cup, a team is not able to calm the game down. And of course, the draw will be fine for them. But I wonder whether, because they're going to have such a great support, they will feel the need to attack and maybe expose themselves a little bit. Turkey, they were unlucky against Portugal, but in the end they were outplayed by a very good technical Portugal side. They've lost 7 of the last 9 games at the Euros, Turkey. And Czech Republic, they are nowhere near the good side of 3 years ago, and probably going to be without 𝐿𝐭𝐴, their top goal scorer at the Euros with 6 goals, the main man. So that's going to affect them. The chances of qualification for Czechia are only 50%, which are not enough. Probably they won't be able to make it. And they were not clinical against Georgia. I think that was the problem. And the question is, are they actually set up to attack? Because against Portugal, they did a very defensive game, scored the goal, then retracted. They were tested a lot in the second half. In the end, crumble. Can they attack? Can they take the game into Turkey? They've only failed to score once in the last 14 international matches, Czechia. And normally, their games, international games, are high-scoring games. None of 26 Czechia's Euro games have finished 0-0. The last time Czechia were involved in a 0-0 draw at the Euros was in 1996 in the semi-final against France. But equally, they don't win many matches. They only won 4 of the last 15, lost 2 of the last 6 internationals. So there is a lot of draws there for Czechia. I don't know. I can't see them winning this one. And funnily enough, at the Euros, they've done 4 times they qualified. 3 times they got knocked out at the group stage, and it was always alternating. Qualification, big knocked out, qualification, big knocked out. In 2021, they qualified. I think this time Czechia might not qualify, but I do fancy the Asian handicap 0 for them, 188. Maybe there is a shock in that. I can't trust Turkey to win this one, to be fair.
Well, I cannot trust any of these teams, to be honest. But in these 2 games, what it showed us is that Turkish and Georgian games, Alvaro, are really funny to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, they are. And Georgian ones are terrific and memorable. And let's see what happens here. But I'm gonna incline for the goals market here. I know, of course, that none of these sides have a big stars up front. 𝐼𝐸𝐻𝐿 is gonna be one, but let's see whether he starts or not. To start with, Patrick Schick could be on the bench if he cannot be physically ready for this game. But anyway, I think that they will attack. Turkey doesn't know any other way, really. I cannot see them just parking the bus, and especially they cannot do it either because they need at least a point, and then let's see what happens with the permutations. Whereas the Czech Republic needs to win. We also saw the other day Scotland and Hungary needing a win, and the goal came almost in the 100th minute. It was the latest ever goal in the tournament, So sometimes both sides needing to win doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to score because they cancel each other out very well. But for this game, yes. Considering that thing that Daniel said, that with the Czech Republic in 26 games, in the Euro, we have always seen one goal, altogether with Turkey's proclivity to shoot themselves in the foot. I'm going to go for over 2.5 goals here, 178. Look, I think that Turkey against Portugal show what their limits are, all right? When Portugal stretched the pitch with Bernardo and Rafael Leao, I think Turkey couldn't handle the width. Then they were very porous in midfield. They conceded many counterattacks. And on top of that, I guess that in the camp, the feeling with Montella, maybe a little bit a feeling of disappointment because some of the biggest stars, they are not making the most of the tournament. 𝐼𝐸𝐻𝐿, is he going to start or not? In my opinion, if he is 90%, he has to play. 𝐜𝐿𝐳𝐧𝐽, the other day, he was on the bench as well. Also, apparently, for some physical issues too. And 𝐿𝐿𝐻𝐿 is a player that comes on and off, but I think that he has to play because the other day, right after the mistake in the second goal of Turkey, 𝐿𝐿𝐻𝐿 was about to score a goal, and the Portuguese goalkeeper did a very good save. But you put all that together, and still Turkey doesn't look very convincing to me, but Czechia neither. In fact, the Czechs, they rely a lot on Vladimir Koufal, as strange as it sounds. I mean, he was, at least on Saturday evening, the player who have produced more crosses in the tournament, 17, which is a tournament record. And, they depend a lot on the way he charges forward. Patrick Schick, his goals are so important too. He's, by the way, the highest ever scorer for Czechia in an international tournament with 6 goals, one more than Milan Baros. And then let me tell you that I like the game of Ladislav Ķekčí. He's going to play for Girona the next season, and I think that he did a very good game. But anyway, for this game, none of these sides are particularly convincing. If they go through, I think that they won't negotiate any stage beyond the quarterfinals. I'm going to go for over 2.5 goals, 178.
What a classic, eh? Milan Baros, Jan Koller, Tomasz Rosický.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was
we were young, Edu.
Peter Cech.
The life was better back then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great Czech national team. Kenan Yildiz, by the way, born in
Nedved,
Germany.
yes.
Nedved, of course. Nedved.
My friend. Yes.
Golden Ball, no? He won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, Ballon d'Or. Yeah.
Kenan Yildiz, born in Germany, by the way, Turkish national, playing for Juventus. Dani, you get some money. You need to buy some player for Inter, Kenan Yildiz or 𝐼𝐸𝐻𝐿.
But Kenan Yildiz is Juventus, they're never going to sell it to Inter, I guess. They won't be crazy. Also, I mean, they managed to get it away from Bayern Munich when he was at the academy. So I think that was a major coup. 𝐼𝐸𝐻𝐿 is out of question. The question is whether Inter are going to sell Çalhanoğlu, who Bayern Munich want to buy, and they fix a price tag of 70 million for him. Çalhanoğlu to score is interesting in this one. The odds 440. The Czech Republic have conceded a penalty, and their defense is a little bit shaky. Çalhanoğlu scored the last 16 penalties for Inter. If he gets on the spot, I think you get your money.
He played a great first game, Çalhanoğlu. And then one of the most entertaining teams in these Euros, Georgia against Portugal. We had some doubts about Roberto Martinez, who is also known for being Alvaro's good friend, but they thrashed 3 Nil.
We go back a long way. We go back a long,
It's a long
way.
story, long story. Portugal with some problems in the campsite with João Felix very angry because he's not getting minutes. What a surprise, eh? João Felix angry with a manager. We haven't seen this in our lives. And probably the goalkeeper of the tournament, Mamardashvili, it was very clear that he was going to leave Valencia because Valencia always sell the best players, I'm sure. Now Peter Lim is just grabbing his hands, trying to make a good contract for Mamardashvili. Hats off, Dani, for Georgia. Really entertaining going forward. I like how they are passionate for every throw in, for every tackle. This is real football.
Yeah, but they're and I don't wanna sound negative, but they're very inexperienced because now Alvaro, who has played football at a good level, will explain me why
Wheaton is a good level.
It's a good level. I've seen him play. You're explaining me why on earth, on the 95th minute of match day 1, Georgia send their keeper out for a corner against Turkey, concedes in a tournament where goal difference is so important. And also, Italy did the same against Spain with Donnarumma. You tell me, why is that a good idea in a tournament where you need 3 points and a goal difference of 0? Please, Professor Romeo.
Professor Romeo doesn't know anything, but I can tell you here, I'm going to be more philosophical. There is a conflict between passion and speculation. And Daniele, I think that you prefer in these cases just to water down the passion. But imagine that Mamardashvili had a score. It would have been epic for all Georgia. I understand that.
Okay, all right.
I understand that. But I know that you guys, Italians, speculate, calculate, and all that. You know, I prefer
just
to be
need one goal
to passion.
Just need one goal to qualify, and you have a decent. And that's why Georgia's chances of qualifying are only 8% because of the -2 goal difference, and then maybe they might be left to pay for that, even if they win 1-0 against Portugal. Let's talk about Portugal for a moment. Now they are the 4th candidate to win the Euro. 12% chance. They started the tournament at a 10.90% chance. So now they got a big increase. It's good. In 2 weeks, I'm sure there are political parties that would love to gain 2% in just a week, since we're talking about elections in France and the UK. That means that, Portugal are becoming, people are still noticing them and looking at them. Of course, helped by Turkey on goal. The movements for the goals were great. Portugal have won 15 of the last 17 games. The other 2 were defeats. And they qualified for the 9th consecutive time from the group stages at the Euros. They are specialists. They all qualified. Every time they take part, they qualified. But it's only the 3rd time they start the group games with 2 wins. They did in 2000, they did in 2008. Of course, they didn't do in 2004 when they were defeated by Greece. They didn't do in 2016 when they won because they only achieved 3 draws. Very interesting stat. Every time Bernardo Silva scored, they won. They won all 12 matches when Bernardo Silva scores, and that tells you how important it is for the team. But let's talk about Mamardashvili a little bit. You break it down very well. He has faced so far 20 shots on target, 49 shots on total, which is the record for the competition. Of course, Georgia have got the highest expected goal against, 6.1, only conceded 4 goals thanks to Mamardashvili, 16 save. I think he has overperformed. Eventually, this is going to go back to his mean. So probably Georgia might concede a couple of goals as well. But Georgia only failed to score once in the last 11 games, scoring the first half in 6 of the last 7. Portugal had nothing to play, already qualified first. In football, motivations are very important. In a tournament like this, resting your best players is very important. If Portugal wins this one, it's not a high win for me. I love Georgia as an handicap plus 1.5, 185. Maybe is a draw, which suits perfectly Portugal. Maybe above to score. I don't see Portugal scoring 3 or 4 goals here.
And we have 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐽𝐻 also among the top scorers of the competition.
Great player for Metz, almost saved Metz. He scored a lot of goals in France. It was phenomenal.
Well, according to the bookies, Portugal is the 5th favorite, still behind France, Germany, Spain, and England. Alvaro, I know that you are a big fan of Mamardashvili. We comment this in our La Liga videos. We know that you are not a big fan of Roberto Martinez, but I guess you liked Portugal against Turkey.
Yeah, I did. As I said before, they stretched the pitch a lot with 𝐬𝐿, who will miss this game, by the way, because he suspended. And Bernardo Silva, they managed to stretch it. They crossed the ball a lot. In fact, Portugal, the main thing they were doing in the first half and in the first 60 minutes against Turkey was crossing the ball for Cristiano Ronaldo, but if Cristiano didn't just hit that ball, kick it, reach to it, there was always somebody waiting in the second post and in the perimeter of the box just to take the second ball, the rebound. In fact, the first goal of Bernardo Silva in the game against Turkey came like that. It was a cross, maybe not supposed to be for him, who is not the tallest man, but he was there in the second post waiting for the ball and he scored. It was, by the way, the first ever goal of Bernardo Silva in the Euros. But yeah, Portugal were good. I think they shot 3 times on target against Turkey and they scored 3 goals, which tells you about their effectiveness as well. They are very used to winning, with Roberto Martinez or not. And they have the privilege to rotate in this game, which is a privilege that only Spain and Portugal will share at this stage, I believe, with, for example, Gonzalo Ramos, Diogo Jota, João Félix, 𝐿𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴. These footballers may get a chance. Of course, Portugal can score. They can score. But I'm going to be more inclined to go exactly for what Daniele recommended, because that's my odd as well. Asian handicap plus 1.5 for Georgia, 177. Georgia has a lot to play for. They've got a good goalkeeper, and I agree with Daniele. Sometimes having a great goalkeeper who does a lot of saves creates the deceptive scorelines, because this is a man overperforming his own XG, but he's in the form of his life, and I have no reason to believe that Mamardashvili is going to lower down his level in this game against Portugal. I believe that he's a very good goalkeeper and he was the player of the match and he frustrated the Czech Republic. But it wasn't only Mamardashvili. Georgia has a couple of attributes that are very well suited for tournament football. Number one, if they get dominated, they will assume it as part of the game. They don't get frustrated, they don't get tired, they don't stop chasing the man they have to mark. And then they are the leaders in the tournament in balls recovered. Again, this data has to be updated in the future, because there are many teams in the Euros who are rather reactive than attacking minded. And then they got a tremendous speed going forward. The number one, 𝐻𝐿𝐴, who hasn't looked sometimes at his peak because he's been about to pick injuries during the games. In fact, in the warm-up to the game against Czechia, picked an injury, but then he played. 𝐻𝐿𝐴 can carry the ball forward very fast. But then, great runners run parallel to him, and they create chances like this. In fact, the other day, 𝐜𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐜𝐭 had a terrific chance to put it to bed against Czechia, and he couldn't score. But, these counterattacks of Georgia have become a trademark of the tournament too. And, Portugal will have to be worried of the quick transitions that Georgia can do. All that said, I believe that Portugal is the favorite, and I'm going to back Georgia with a handicap, as I said before. Asian handicap plus 1.5 for Georgia, meaning that they may not lose by 2 goals. That pays 177.
And what to say about Kepler de Lima Ferreira, or Pepe, at his age, doing a great tournament.
He will rotate, right?
Yeah, probably.
He shouldn't play.
Should, because
fresh,
come on, he's 41.
He looks really fresh, playing at
he's
a great
excellent
level. Pepe, still without going to Saudi Arabia or to the States, and doing great at a top level. Let's see if Georgia stays at the tournament with Willy Sagnol as a manager, or they say goodbye against Portugal. You can try and tell us your tips in the comment section, and also participate in our tipster competition for the Euros with a chance to win big money. The first 20 participants win money, so you can participate absolutely for free. To help our audience, Dani, your safe bet?
You must have understood it from everything we said about Slovakia, Romania draw, 224.
the first draw as a safe bet in the history of
Ever. Yes. Yes.
Alvaro.
I'm gonna go for Belgium to win 171.
And the ACCA, Alvaro?
Just very quickly, I've got a very simple ACCA. Belgium to win and Lukaku to score. It pays 326. They have ruled out 3 goals to Romelu Lukaku. Is coming up. If you want to top it up with a bit more, you can go for that thing I said, plus a biscotto, a draw no bet for Slovakia. Altogether 570.
Classic.
If there is a draw, you is out of the ACCA. Still, Lukaku needs to score and not be disallowed by VAR. Dani, safe bet. ACCA?
Slovakia, Romania under 2 goals. Georgia, Portugal, both team to score. Czechia, Turkey over 2.5 goals. Total odds 6.25.
Well, maybe we see, you remember, Dani, in the Euros with the draw signs against, was Sweden? What team? In the
Sweden, Denmark.
Portugal. Exactly.
Sweden, Denmark, 2-2.
Everyone
2-2.
was pushing for the draw, and it was a draw. Perhaps we see the same outcome in the Slovakia.
We have to go back. Spain in 1982, Germany, Austria 0-0, which were booed by, I think it was in Gijón. It's been nicknamed the scandal of Gijón or something like that. It was absolutely terrible.
I remember Celta Valladolid, I believe, in La Liga, with Chechu Rojo as the manager of Celta, and that was an absolute joke. And 0-0 as well.
And what was that, for salvation? To get salvation?
Yeah, of course. No.
not to win La Liga.
It was
okay.
Very easy to get a biscotto for a 0-0. Well, guys, thank you, Dani. Thank you, Alvaro. Bye-bye.